Well, it's time to end the night with a bang, or perhaps an explosion.
Yes,
Demolition Man,
Demolition Man. Yeah.
the dumb action movie that is way too prophetic.
Yes, it is.
This one and Blade Runner are kind of two peas in a pod about accurately predicting some of the trajectories of society.
Yeah. Yes. And I noticed that too when I mean when I first saw it, like when there were I can't remember when I first saw it was, which was either late 2000s, early 2010s, where I'm like, oh yeah, this has definitely predicted our future world.
Yeah. Um, now, what's great about this movie is that it could work even if you took out the future aspect of it. Like if you just set it in the present, like imagine this: Sylvester Stallone, a police officer known simply as the Demolition Man. He gets the job done and doesn't care about the consequences. Versus Wesley Snipes as what was his name again?
Simon Phoenix.
The Simon Phoenix, the most cartoonish villain ever, who plays it so over the top that it's delightful.
Yeah.
You don't even need a sci-fi element. You can even just put them in normal everyday circumstances and it would work.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely works here.
Yeah,
Um,
just yeah. So basically, you put a hat in a hat and it actually worked out.
yeah. Yeah. So, and his career's outlet mentions, yeah, seashells. Yeah, we'll be getting get to that in a sec.
Yep, the three shells.
The three shells.
so, so the movie opens in a bombed out version of 1996 in L.A., where one of the military helicopter pilots mentions, "Man, remember back when they used to let civilian planes fly over this?"
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I find it funny that this movie is very optimistic about where technology would be in 1996, but completely pessimistic about the actual state of Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, this movie came out in 1993. A lot of bad stuff was happening in LA right around that time.
Yeah, this,
um,
this couldn't have been in production during the Rodney King riots, right?
I don't
Let's
think
see,
so. I want to say that was Rodney King. I want to say that. Well,
April
that was
29th, 1992. Okay, so maybe that
maybe.
did have enough time to influence this movie.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So, and yeah, in the midst of the chaos, Simon Phoenix, Wesley Snipes, the villain, he hijacked a bus and he's holding them all the passengers hostage in this uh, burned out abandoned building. And John Spartan, played by Sylvester Stallone, goes in there to rescue them and finally get Simon Phoenix, but it all goes horribly wrong.
Yes, in the course of things, it appears that first off, Phoenix rigs things up so that the building explodes, but it's all blamed on Spartan because he is, he's known as the Demolition Man, the guy who doesn't care about property damage as long as he saves people. So of course they assume that, oh, well, of course the building exploded. Do you expect us to believe that you didn't blow up that building?
Yeah.
And worse, they find that all those hostages had been in the building when it exploded, even though Spartan had done a sweep with the thermal sensor to make sure there was no one around.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So as a result, both Spartan and Phoenix are put into they've become cryo criminals. So they're put in this cryogenic stasis, and they're putting little implants on their heads to alter their behavior,
Right,
their personalities. Yeah, basically.
right. Just designed to rehabilitate them in their own way.
Yeah. So then we flash forward to 2032, and in a very happy-go-lucky, bright and shiny, clean future San Angeles, which was L.A. and San Diego and Santa Monica all in one city.
If one megalopolis, everything is shiny and chrome. If you try to do graffiti, there's anti-graffiti measures on the buildings that just instantly dissipate it.
Yeah.
I would say that they're okay. Outside of the whole cryo sleep and mental reprogramming thing, I'd say that their technology is actually pretty prescient about where things were going. You have things like
Yeah.
self-driving cars. They're doing video calls. There's equivalents to the internet that are just wirelessly connecting things together. As far like it's in the background, but you can just surmise that that's what's happening.
Yeah. Fast food restaurants are collapsing.
Oh, we'll get into that in a minute. By the way, we're gonna go mild spoilers on this one because it is an older movie. But if if the premise of this sounds interesting and you haven't seen it, go watch it on Tubi first, and then you can come back and hear us geek out about it.
Yeah.
And Holy Ninja says a police force worse than Britain's in all senses because not only are they super authoritarian, they're not even good at being authoritarian.
No, they're not. And good to see you, D Rhino. Yes, great movie. Yeah.
Yeah, so they end up thawing out Phoenix for a parole hearing, which I find it very funny that Spartan had a longer sentence than Phoenix, considering that Phoenix had been wanted for multiple murder death kills before he was put in stasis.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the justice system for you.
Yep. But he manages to escape, and the future police, including Sandra Bullock, are proven to be completely unable to stop him. What it kind of reminded me of is you know how like you'll have a species that's adapted to live on a small island like the dodo, where they just have no fear of anything because it would actually waste their energy to walk around being nervous about things when there's nothing to eat them. And then
Yeah.
rats show up. Rats
Yeah.
and dogs show up. That's what it was like watching Phoenix deal with these wussified future cops.
Yeah.
Because like their training manual is basically tell them loudly and firmly to submit.
Or else.
and that is the extent of the plan.
Yeah. Yes, and so since they're so ill-equipped to deal with Phoenix, they decide to wake John Spartan up so that he can go and get Simon Phoenix. Of course, they treat Spartan just with total disdain. They call him a Neanderthal and a barbarian, and
Right. Which is quite hurtful considering it's only 40 years later. But that's part of the future they predicted was that now what this movie is, it is an adaptation of Huxley's Brave New World in a sense.
mm. Yeah, it is. And to drive that point home even further, Sandra Bullock's character's last name is Huxley.
Yep. And I thought I was mishearing her name as Willina, but it's Lenina.
Lenina.
So,
Okay.
now she's one of the funnier characters in the movie just because, okay, Sandra Bullock was always my favorite of the rom-com stars.
Mm.
I'll even watch some of her newer movies occasionally, like that one that she did with Tatum a couple years back.
Oh yeah, Lost City, I think.
Lost Cities or whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
She's always a delight. And what she's basically playing is Starfire from the Teen Titans cartoon, in the sense that she's just very, very innocent and childlike, but she has an interest in 20th century contraband. It's like she has a lot of old stuff, and she knows Phoenix's career very well.
Mm.
Not Phoenix,
Yeah,
Spartan's career very well.
yeah.
And she looks fondly at him, and but she's also just very, very naive and innocent. Actually, everyone in this is kind of naive and innocent. It kind of reminds me of the clones from the Island movie from Michael Bay.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
Very similar. Yeah,
it's not that they're stupid. It's just that they've lived in a very isolated, controlled environment where they don't have to deal with certain realities.
yeah. Like a psychopathic murderer on the loose.
Right, exactly. And that's kind of the
Yeah.
problem with Utopia is that even if you can get 99% of the population on board, there's going to be that percentage who just says no and decides to break it because it's there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
some men just want to watch the world burn.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And well, and one of the other characters who's kind of falls into that category is Edgar Friendly, who's played by Dennis Leary.
Oh, is that who that was? Okay.
Yeah, Dennis Leary. Yeah.
I didn't recognize it because he didn't make a chain of 15 different analogies in a row.
Yeah.
Also the long hair, but
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah. So basically, as the movie progresses, you come to find out more about like who woke who let Simon Phoenix out and why, and yeah.
well, let's talk a little bit about some of the nuts and bolts of the future.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
So there's one gag that they drop after a bit because they figured out exactly how many instances of it would be amusing, and then
Yeah.
I noticed that after they did that, they stopped having those machines around. Like they were outdoors, they were in the underground, or they were in the car. Yeah,
Yeah.
D Rhino predicted it there. No cussing. So like, you have been fined 1 credit. For profanity, you have been fined 1 credit.
Yeah. Yeah, and the of course the whole thing with the seashells, the
Right.
3 seashells.
That have replaced toilet paper.
Yeah, yeah, they replaced toilet paper and Spartan's like, well, I don't, these 3 seashells, I don't know what to do, and Rob Schneider's like, he doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells, and then Spartan just goes over to the swearing thing and he just starts rattling off a whole bunch of and he grabs like 12 of them, bunch of them. He's like, all right, so much for the seashells.
Yeah. And also everything is just subtly softened, or like they have like weird terminology for things. So it's like instead of murder, it's murder, death, kill.
Yeah.
Which is weird that like it's like they're lumping all killing related crimes under one loose umbrella.
Yeah. Well, what was weird too is when the code came in, they didn't even know what it was.
Oh, that's right, because it had been so long since somebody had actually tried it.
Yeah, it's like 187. What's 187? I don't know. They type it. Oh.
Let's see. So yeah, like you were saying before I cut you off, you find out more about who revived Phoenix.
Yeah. Yeah, Dean Rhino mentioned the no intimacy thing. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
We'll get to there, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so this whole society is led by a guy named Kektow, played by Nigel Hawthorne, and he's kind of the one he's the guy who like. So if you ever watched Star Trek, with the Vulcans, the Vulcans were like they almost wiped themselves out because of their emotions. They feel the emotions very strongly, and then this guy named Surak comes around and he creates the whole philosophy of suppressing the emotions and embracing pure logic, and that's kind of what this is here. It's a similar thing where they this Kato guy basically teaches people how to be nonviolent.
Right. Engineers a society to just take away all of the rough or the sharp edges of human life.
Right.
And I wonder if he's supposed to be Dr. Raymond Cocteau. Is that supposed to be like a joke on cocktail?
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, the problem is that he is tired of dealing with Dennis Leary's. I would hesitate to even call it a terrorist group.
No, they're just like kind of like reprobates. They're outcasts. They're
Yeah,
outcasts. Yeah. And yeah, they're not violent. They just they're just trying to live. They live in the sewers underground, and they have this whole society down there, and they only come up to get food. So yeah, they're
right,
not like they're not awful people. They're just kind of they don't want to be
right,
they just don't want to deal with them.
right. They're just refusing to get with the program.
Right. Yeah.
Um, uh, and
But
so
yeah, cocktail or cocktail. He woke Simon Phoenix up so that he could deal with it, to deal with Dennis Leary, which is like that's like taking a flamethrower to a like a
it's like your ice cream is slightly too hard, and you decide to take a flamethrower to it.
right. Yeah, it's just like it's a little much there, dude.
Yeah, and even worse in the meantime. So John Spartan got programming that was supposed to make him more docile and teach him how to knit,
Yeah.
which he does in one scene. Phoenix got programming that turned him into a better killer because it gave him martial arts and he knows how to use all the technology in the future. And he knows a bunch of override codes for things that civilians shouldn't have access to.
Yes. Yeah, and he's three times stronger than he was before he got frozen. And yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
don't know how you program that. But my
yeah.
best guess is that they just train him like weightlifting techniques or what's this the martial arts making him seem stronger.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
That was just a one-off line from Stallone.
Yeah.
But yeah, now you find out that he's unable to kill Cocteau, and so he's kind of forced to do his bidding.
Right.
They also revealed that okay, so remember I've seen various people joke about the Cola Wars, talking about them like they're Vietnam or something.
Yeah.
Man, I survived the Cola Wars. That is the same way that Sandra Bullock's character talks about the fast food wars of the 90s and 2000s, and now Taco Bell is the only restaurant.
Yeah.
And it's a high-end joint with a lounge singer. Oh man, there's so many great details about how they've rounded off the future. All music has been replaced with food jingles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hot dogs, Armor hot dogs.
Dogs. Just put me back in the fridge.
um, and and also I love the set design and costume design on this one.
Oh
Costume
yeah.
design, everyone's wearing something that kind of looks like it's like a mix between a kimono and certain types of Middle Eastern robes. They're just kind of very like flowy and indistinct and like just they're designed to deperson you or to de-individualize you. Like
Right.
everything's very bland colors.
Yeah. Yeah. Which makes sense considering that they don't want anybody, they don't want anybody like real flashy colors to, to stand out and,
Hmm.
get people angry. Yeah. Like red. Red makes people angry.
Yep. Um, and also just all the buildings in the future look amazing. Like everything is
Yeah.
pristine, but it also looks very soulless and lifeless.
They did a very good job of making it look like I know this is going to sound weird, but a dystopian utopia.
Right. The line between the two is very thin. In fact, I've heard the statement before: one man's utopia is another man's dystopia.
Oh yeah, yeah,
But anyhow, so in the course of things, our heroes get invited to join Cocteau for a quick dinner at Taco Bell, which is a ritzy event,
yeah,
and that's where he sees Dennis O'Leary's people raiding the Taco Bell food trucks
yeah.
for supplies, and he realizes that he isn't necessarily on the good side.
Yeah, that's when he starts seeing the cracks in the veneer. Yeah,
Right. Like he was never on board with it, but it was like, well, if this is just how people are.
yeah, yeah, and then of course, then after all that happened, that's when they go back to Sandra Bullock's apartment, and she wants to get it on with Stallone, but
Right.
not in the way that
Yeah.
that he thinks.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been proven that violence and sex are linked not causally but associated in the mind. And after all that violence, you want to have sex? Yes. And it involves strapping on these headbands that stimulate certain parts of the brain in sync with each other.
Yeah, it's it's a very odd sequence, and it's still just like, oh no, 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 no. Can we do
Uh,
it the old? Can we do it the old-fashioned way? Oh, fluid transfer.
that's how you get. There was HIV, and then she rattles off a few more made-up diseases.
Yeah, yeah,
And like, well, what if you had a baby? Well, yeah, we would screen our genetic material, and then it would. I think they even have like vat children.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. There's no you know procreation the way God intended it.
Nope.
It's all through science, and yeah,
Another way in which this is a sterile future.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, this, of course, it all kind of culminates with, a big action set piece at the end. Great fight scene between Stallone and Snipes going at it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. And of course, yeah. Well, let's not spoil it.
yeah,
We've already covered a lot of the great beats, but if for some reason you stuck with us and didn't watch it, just go to Tubi, watch it. It's free. You'll just have to watch a couple of ads.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I highly recommend this movie. And I don't know why this movie really didn't catch on when it came out.
It,
I assume maybe the marketing didn't really do it justice.
I looked it up and it looked like compared to its budget, it did all right money
Okay.
wise. But it was like what wouldn't have been an enormous profitable day, but it made like 150 worldwide, I think, or 150 in the US.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. Maybe people were turned off by the theme song by Sting.
Sting did the theme song.
Yeah, I did. Yep, I knew that because I have a Best of the Police album around somewhere that included it.
Oh, jeez.
See, you go, oh, geez. I go, yeah, Sting's cool.
No, I don't have a problem with Sting. I just not that's not who
Not
I
your
would
flavor.
shoot. Not my flavor. Well, not my number one choice.
Yeah,
But and not necessarily my choice to do the theme song for a movie like this.
yeah. That was an interesting choice, wasn't it?
Yeah, I would have gone with somebody like
Okay. So it was a budget of 45 to 77 million,
yeah,
58 in the US, 101 international, so 159 worldwide. Yeah, so this is one that made it up on VHS and DVD and Blu-ray and TV and whatnot.
oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
Um, it's kind of an odd movie. I mean, I was talking with my dad about it on Father's Day, and he mentioned that he gave up at that simulated sex scene. Like, I think you have to be in a particular mindset to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like performance wise, everybody does what they're supposed to do. Like I mentioned before, Wesley Snipes is just a delight as this over the top cartoonish villain,
Oh yeah, yeah.
kind of like he was in New Jack City, actually. Now that I think
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
yeah. He was. Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, very similar. Yeah, yeah. The dynamic between Stallone and Snipes in this movie is kind of like a like cartoon, hero villain kind of setup.
Yeah, it would not take very much to make it Batman versus the Joker.
No, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, Stallone, he's Stallone. This isn't like Copland where he really had to stretch himself.
No, you could tell he was kind of having fun with this movie.
Oh yeah, he was. I'm just saying it's not outside of his wheelhouse at all.
Right. Yeah. This is more of his comfort zone. Yeah. Than Copland.
You have just a in command ass kicker.
Yeah.
And he kind of had to be a little bit that sort of template or character archetype because this is really what would happen if you had an 80s action star end up in a utopic dystopia.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of making the case that the world needs a certain rough and tumble angle because you can't shave the edges off and expect things to survive.
Right. Yeah. Well, as he says twice in the movie, send a maniac to get the maniac.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like the old observation that police officers very often match the psychological profile of the people they're fighting.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But yeah. Go watch this movie if you haven't already.
Yep. Well, I think we've said enough.
Yeah.